Apple just released a brand new application in the App Store called Apple Invites, and in this video, we're going to be taking a look at what's new for the iPhone with the new app. The all-new Apple Invites app is currently available as a free download in the App Store, currently only available for the iPhone, but with possible updates in the future for possibly iPad as well as macOS. It seems like a fairly simple application where you can simply create, send, and manage event invitations, but this one actually does a lot more than just that. So jumping right in, the app icon is fairly simple. It's just an envelope with a little bit of colored dots. It also does look really cool in dark mode, and which is the icon that I prefer to go with on my iOS device, and it looks very simple over there. Once you open up the application, you're going to be greeted with the user interface. On the front page, you're going to see your upcoming invitations that you created or the one that you're going to be attending. You can see this one, it does have the hosting sign on it, which is because I created this invitation, and it simply says Captain America Brave New World. Once you tap into it, you're going to get the date and time as well as a location where we're going to be watching the specific movie, and you can see who's hosting it and who is going to be RSVP'd for the invitation. And right below that, you're going to get some other information like the weather, how to get to the location, and so on. It just gives you all the information that anyone would need when accepting an invitation to get to that location, and even more details as we're going to be taking a look at right now. Creating an invitation is very easy. All you have to do is click on the little plus icon in the top right hand corner, and you're going to have a couple of options here to customize. The first thing is going to be the background. You can use Photos Camera, but if you have the iPhone 15 or higher, you'll have access to Image Playground, where you can just generate an image via Apple Intelligence. Once you've created the background using Apple Intelligence's Image Playground, or simply using the gallery or camera option, you can add that as your background for the invitation. And in my opinion, this whole interface just looks really nice, and I hope that Apple kind of takes this going into iOS 19, because if the entire software looks like this, it's going to be really nice. But there you have the background selected, and next of course you have the option to title the event as well as customize the font for that event. And of course next you're going to have the option to customize the date and time for the event, so you can either have it for a full day or a couple of days. You can customize that in the date and time section, as well as adding the location. So if you have a specific location, you can have this added in, and everyone will have access to the same address, so that does clear up a lot of confusion, especially in some group chats. Once you have the date and time set, it's also going to give you this nice little weather option where it's going to predict the weather if it's too far out in the calendar, or give you a more accurate weather representation if it's somewhat of an event in the next 14 days. Now what's unique about the Apple Invitation app is that it gives you the option to have a shared album as well as a shared playlist within that invitation to whoever you're sending it out to. So what the first option is going to be is shared album, and here you'll have the option to create an album as a host, to have a shared photo library, and whoever is attending will have access to this photo library, and they can easily share their images that's taken place at the event directly into the shared iPhoto album, and it just makes it a lot easier for everyone to access the same images that's been taken at the event, which is a really cool feature to have. Not only are you getting shared albums, but you're also getting shared playlist, which allows you to have a collaborative playlist in the invitation. This can be very useful for road trip events, so if you happen to be with friends in a car and you want to be able to share the music, you'll have that option to do so with the Events app. Once everything is set, you can go ahead and preview how the invitation is going to look for the next person, and they'll simply have the background, the title, the location, and they'll have the option to say yes, maybe, or no. And they also get the other event details like the shared album, the directions, the weather, as well as a shared Apple Music playlist. And what's even better is that you can send invitation links to your friends with Android, and they will be able to RSVP to that invitation as well. So it's not going to be limited from just iPhone to iPhone. It also works from iPhone to Android. Now the Apple Invites app is a free download in the App Store, but there are some requirements that you would have for this application to work. First of all, you have to have an iPhone on running iOS 18 or higher for you to be able to get the application, and with that you also have to have an iCloud Plus subscription. So if you're already paying for iCloud storage, you're going to have access to this, but if you're not paying for iCloud Plus, you're not going to have the option to host any events. So the only thing is you can work with other users with Android or people that don't have the application, but you cannot create any invitations without having an iPhone running iOS and iCloud Plus. And that's Apple Invitation. Personally, I like this application. I'm going to be using it to manage all my events going forward, whether it's a cottage trip, road trip, or vacation. This just seems like the perfect way to get everyone on board and share the information so everyone has access to the same information and most up-to-date information at that. So that's a really cool application in my opinion. What are your thoughts? If you guys did like this video, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.